If you're over 55, there's a good chance you're accidentally turning your strongest hands into losing strategies. But the worst part is you usually win the hand when you make this mistake, which means most players never realize how much money this habit costs them over time. Over the last 11 years, playing live low stakes poker and coaching dozens of players, I've seen this exact pattern come up again and again. It's not just older players who struggle with it, but players over 55 seem especially prone to this mistake. So in this video, I'll show you exactly what the mistake is, why it's keeping your win rate stuck, and what to do instead to boost your win rate at 1-2 and 1-3 live. Just the other day, I witnessed this mistake in action again. At my local card room, two players limped, and an older gentleman who seemed to be very tight and only raised premium hands suddenly raised to 20 at this 1-2 game. That's not the mistake yet. I actually like the big raise size. The first limper thought his hand was good enough to continue, so he called the 20, the other one folded. So there were now 45 pounds in the middle. So now they went heads up to a flop of 10-9-5 with two clubs. On this flop there are now straight draws, flush draws, and tons of bad turn cards that can come. When the limper checked, the older man now bet 100 pounds into the pot of 45. Villain looked annoyed and folded Jack 10 for top pair face up and said, "I know you have it, my 10 is no good here." And he was right, because the older gentleman quickly turned over pocket aces and was very happy to have won the pot. Have you spotted the mistake yet? It is that many older players bet really big post-flop. That one oversized bet cost him more money than he realized, because when you consistently force weaker hands to fold, you stop getting paid. They call it betting for protection, because they want to protect their hand against draws by betting huge. Now, don't get me wrong, I think big bets can be very useful in poker, and I love using them myself, although usually as a bluff. But betting for protection is not really a thing in cash games, as I'm going to show you in a moment. In tournament poker, betting for protection can be very important. When you're short stacked, you have top pair on a board of say 9-7-4 with a flush draw, it makes sense to go all in to make sure that a hand like King Jack that still has a lot of equity against you folds. And the reason for that is that your tournament life is very important, because you only have one life. Losing that hand and busting the tournament would be a disaster. But this does not apply to cash games. In cash games, the goal is to maximize your win rate, not to avoid losing a hand. If, like in the example I mentioned, we get outdrawn, it is not a disaster. Provided we have a big enough bankroll, we can just reload. Getting extra value with a good hand is much more important than avoiding losing a particular hand. In fact, this is one of the biggest shifts you can make to become a winning player. You have to accept that you will get outdrawn and you will lose hands, and this is perfectly fine. The goal in cash game poker is to make the most money long term, and this is important, long term, by forcing your opponent to make mistakes. But when you bet huge for protection, you're not actually protecting your hand, you're protecting your opponent from making mistakes. And over thousands of hands, that becomes incredibly expensive. Because poker profits come from weaker hands putting money into the pot with the worst of it. Let's look at the hand from earlier again. If you bet 100 into a pot of 45 with your pocket aces, you get pretty much every hand that you beat to fold. Most opponents will fold a 10, and they will also fold a flush draw or a straight draw. What hands will Villain continue with? Well, pretty much only sets and two pair. And guess what? Both those hand types are winning against you. So in other words, by betting so big, you get all weaker hands to fold and you get all better hands to call. This is called a polarization mistake. And it is the exact opposite of what we want to achieve. The main reasons to bet in poker are to get a weaker hand to call and a better hand to fold, which, as I said, is the exact opposite of what we're doing here. So, how would we achieve these goals? Well, in this particular case, we don't need to get a better hand to fold because we have a good hand ourselves, and it's very unlikely that we can get a better hand to fold anyway. So let's concentrate on how to get called by a weaker hand, something like exactly the Jack 10 our opponent has, or even a draw. Well, we bet smaller. If we bet 25 here, I'm almost certain that a 10 or a flush draw will call. You can probably even bump it up to 30 or even 35, and you'll still get called by those hands. Maybe you can even go pot. And now I can already hear you say,
"But Andreas, what if we bet small, villain calls, and the flush comes in on the turn?"
well, that would be unfortunate, yes, but if that happens, we will have to deal with a new reality. On the flop, our overpair is a really good hand. If the flush comes in, then our overpair is still an okay hand, but not more than that. So all it means is that we then have to shift gears. Instead of being in value betting mode, we have to be a bit more careful. If the turn goes check check and villain checks the river again, we can then go for some more value. If villain comes out betting big on the turn or the river, then we might just have to fold. But the chances of the flush coming in on the turn are just around 20%. So the other 80% of the time, we can go for more value. So don't be afraid of the 20%. But being afraid is exactly the right phrase, because this play is rooted in fear, nothing else. They don't want to face difficult turns. They don't want uncertainty. They don't want to get outdrawn after putting money in. So subconsciously, these players use massive bets to end the hand immediately. The players making this mistake usually think they're being disciplined. In reality, they're quietly lowering their win rate. It is like putting all your money into a savings account that pays 0.5% interest rather than investing in the stock market where you could make an 8% return because you don't want to face the volatility. So these players are happy to win a small pot rather than win more money long term. They avoid short-term pain but sacrifice long-term profit. And sometimes I see older players make this mistake even pre-flop, especially when they have a hand like ace-king. They're afraid of having to play the hand post-flop after they miss, so what do? They raise it enormously pre-flop to take the pot down and avoid playing post-flop. So how exactly should you play then? Most of the time, your goal should be simple. Keep weaker hands in and stop trying to make every scary hand disappear immediately. I recommend betting your entire range on the flop. If villain calls and the turn is a brick, you can now size up. But I would still not go more than 2 times the pot, but more like just over pot. And on a clean river, you can bet around pot again against a calling station opponent. If, however, the turn is a flush completing card, I would check back and call a small river bet. If villain bets big on the river, I would just fold. Of course, all of this depends on who you're playing against, though. I have created a cheat sheet that tells you exactly what to look out for to profile any player in real time at the table. You can grab it for free, link below, or scan this QR code. But the true magic to your win rate happens when you have a strategy that you can follow in any situation so that you're never afraid or confused in a hand again. To learn such a simple strategy, watch this video next.